and we're happy to see you all. And some of you may even know what you're in for, and others will learn quite quickly what an awesome entertainment this is gonna be.
I'm embarrassed.
Billy Michael.
I'm so not awesome. Oh, God. Oh, God, I can't remember anything anymore. I had to bring my music. This is what believe it or not, when we did the Danbury Fair review, it must have been 2012 and 13. This was on the stage. And those of you that may know Bobby Thuman from Bethel, yeah, anybody know her? You maybe don't know her. Well, in this was on the note. This is just great news. She's turning 90. I'm doing her party. She's turning 90 soon. Anyway, at 14 years old, she was the national baton twirling champ. National from Bethel. She was at the Grassy Plain Drum Corps. And Bobby Thuman, and whenever we did a show, I mean, she's in such incredible condition. She would hop up on the stage, she'd leap up, and she'd do the baton and throw it up in the air and catch it behind her and catch it. Just a trust.
Talent coming out of Bethel.
That girl, Bobby, and Lee Knowles, who worked with the Glenn Miller band. Lee Knowles was a big trumpeter. I think it was second trumpeter. I don't know if it was first. But when Lee Knowles, those of you that may be familiar with that, the Major Bo's talent show, Major Bo's amateur hour, whatever it was, Lee went down there and played in New York, and he made such an impression on the world from that show. Glenn Miller was right on Fleetwood Avenue, went right to the Knowles prop house and drafted him coming out of Bethel High School. That had to be in the late 1930s. But Lee Knowles is a giant. When I hear In the Mood, I think, he could have been playing that. That could be Lee on those, or he would have been in the band anyway. But I always like starting with popular songs. And when we did the Danbury Fair review, Danbury Fair opens 1869. So we put together music of that era that would have been the most popular song. So you're right after the Civil War, and while we sing the Battle Hymn of the Republic, as I always think of that symbolic of the Civil War era, the real song was the Battle Cry of Freedom. In 1862 the song is written. The guy's name is George Frederick Root. This song was so popular that it sold 700,000 copies.
Whoa, wow.
It took, according to what I read about this song, it took 14 printing presses running and over to provide it. And then he got into some trouble because he found it was such a popular tune. And he said, well, gee, if I'm selling it as the Battle Cry of Freedom for the northern states, I can change the words and sell it to the Confederate states. And he did. And then there was you can imagine that the criticism of him being such an immoral opportunist to get it from both sides. So
it's the definition of musician.
That's the reason where he got a gig everywhere. And we'll rally round the flag, boys, we'll rally once again, shouting the battle cry of freedom. We'll holler from the hills and we'll holler from the plains, shouting the battle cry of freedom. The Union forever, hurrah, boys, hurrah! Down with the traitors and up with the stars. And we'll rally round the flag, boys, we'll rally once again, shouting the battle cry of freedom. We'll rally round the flag for the men that live no more, shouting the battle cry of freedom. We'll fill their vacant ranks with 1 million free men more, shouting the battle cry of freedom. The Union forever, hurrah, boys, hurrah! Down with the traitors and up with the stars. And we'll rally round the flag, boys, we'll rally do or die, shouting the battle cry of freedom. And the other part was Dixie forever, hurrah, boys, hurrah! bonnie Flagler Valley once again, shouting the battle cry of freedom. That's the story. The most popular song of the 1860s. That's a tremendous song. Really, and Charles Ives used that a lot. He used pieces of that in those amalgamations that he would make. And remember, I don't know if you remember the Paul Winter Consort doing some of Charles Ives' music. It was tremendous. And Battle Cry of Freedom, that's the first time I had heard strains of that in that song. And that's 1862. Now, 1898, you've got the Spanish-American War. Theodore Roosevelt is the Secretary of the Navy, and he's in Cuba, and with the Rough Riders and all of the legendary, all the lore of the Rough Riders, the men that he amassed to raise hell down there. And there was the song at that time, and Ken Burns featured this song, was A Hot Time in the Old Town Tonight. And that song was played so much that the men that were taken prisoners, that I read that, you know, I don't know if this is all true, but this is what I read, the research, you know. They thought this was the national anthem because the trumpeters around the campfires played it so much. Come on and get you ready in your good gown. There's gonna be a party, better gather around. Where you know everybody and they all know you. You got a rabbit foot to keep away the hoodoo. When you hear the preaching you begin, bend down low and wash away your sin. And when that preaching is through, in chorus all join in. There'll be a hot time in the old town tonight. There'll be a hot time in the old town tonight. There'll be girls for everybody in that good town. There's Miss Consola Davis and Condolia Brown. There's Joanna Beasley, she's dressed in red. I hugged her, I kissed her, and then she said, please, oh please, do not let me fall. You're my man, I'll love you best of all. If you will be my man, I'll have no man at all. There'll be a hot time in the old town tonight. There'll be a hot time in the old town tonight. When you hear the bells go ring-a-ling, oh, come round and sweetly you will sing. And when that ringing through, when the chorus all join in, there'll be a hot time in the old town tonight. There'll be a hot time at the Richter House tonight. We're having a hot time at Richter tonight. 1898. I can't believe we're doing songs from that era. They're still alive. I can't. When I hear a song like that, I can't imagine. It's going to be used in movies that have yet to be made, and I think of the songs of today. How few of them will last 100 years, 150 years, and there's so many of them. They're everywhere. But these songs have such staying power. It shocks me. Now, Michael Jackson, Thriller. That is, I'm told, the most popular song album of all time. He sold more of that Thriller album, whatever they call it now, CDs or whatever it is. But in 1892, this may be the most popular song of all time when you compare the 1890 census had about 2 million Americans. Am I got this right? I'm creating something now. I think the 1890 census, there were so few people here. Yeah. And this song, I wrote this down from that show, so I'm not recreating it as time goes by. 2 million copies of this song were sold. Oh, no, I'm sorry. There were 60 million. Thank God. You had the 1890 census. I got it right here. 60 million people. There were 12 million households. There were 12 million households in that 1890 census. You can imagine all the pianos because to play music, we don't have popular music, radio, all that stuff. So the prominence of pianos in this country must have been tremendous for someone to sell 2 million copies of sheet music. And the fact that at that time, it was just the beginning of commercial music for America, the Tin Pan Alley. What was I going to say? That there was so much, you could bring the music back if you didn't like it. When you bought a piece of music, you could return it. I read all this, so I don't know if this is true. That's what they said. Yeah, 60 million people, 12 million households. Okay, it was 2 million copies. All right, that's an amazing story. When you hear the song, now you're going to be shocked. This could possibly be the most popular song in America given the time, the amount of population, the amount of copies sold. It may be even bigger than Thriller. After the ball is over, after the break of morn, after the dancers leaving, after the stars are gone, many a heart is aching. If you could read them all, many's a hope that has vanished after the ball. What a waltz, what a sad song. And the verse, which nobody sings, the verse is about a little girl who asks her uncle why he never got married. And then the uncle relates to her, this is all in the verse of the song, how he was at a ball and the date, the woman he was with, asked him to get her a drink. So as he went to fetch her a glass of water, he comes back and sees her kissing a man. And so he leaves, and to forever never talk to the girl again, never get involved with another woman, and just live this sad, lonely bachelor life. And at the end of his life, he finds out that she was merely kissing her brother. You see, that's it. So he is destined for a miserable life, and of his stubbornness and just lack of communication.
Yeah, right.
Lack of communication. So
Still going on.
That's the verse of the song. But all we do is after the ball is over, after the break of morn, after the dancers leaving, after the stars are gone, many a heart is aching. If you could read them all, many's the hope that has vanished after the ball. Unbelievable! What a song! That could be the most popular song that the country ever had, because of the 12 million households buying up 2 million copies of that music. That's tremendous. That's just. So let's see. So we've started the program in the 1800s. So I'm going to get into the 1900s. Let's venture in. Let's see what we come up with. And I'll go with like that World War I era. That's a terrific song. When George M. Cohen got the Congressional Medal of Honor. Let me just think what I'm going to do. I can't think of the song I'm going to play. Let me think. I'll get another one. Over there, send the word over there. Because the Yanks are coming, drums drumming everywhere. So prepare, say a prayer, send the word over there. That will be over, we're coming over, and we won't come back till it's over there. Over there, don't delay. Make your daddy glad to have had such a laugh. Hear your sweetheart calling you. It's red and white and blue. Over there, over there. Send the word over there. That the Yanks are coming, the Yanks are coming. Drum, drum, drumming everywhere. So prepare, say your prayer. Set the word to beware. Then we'll be over, we're coming over. We won't come back till it's over, over. There will be over, we're coming over. And we won't come back till it's over, over there. What a song! That was, oh my God, did that inspire morale for the soldiers? That was tremendous. Oh my God, that song. What that did, the emotional content, the dopamine, and all those chemicals that came out of our brains when people heard that song.
Was that written for a play or anything, or just?
No, I don't think, just the way the Battle Cry of Freedom was written for Lincoln, because Lincoln needed a way to get the people to join the Union Army.
Okay.
And George Frederick Root did that for Lincoln. In fact, Lincoln, in his last election, the 1864 campaign, he used that melody with different words for his campaign song. The Battle Cry of Freedom was also used as the Lyndon Johnson campaign melody with whatever words. I'm sure they're all online.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
Wow.
And I think George Cohen did that for the war effort in the 19s.
Recruiting. Yeah.
Because he got the Congressional Medal of Honor for, what is this? It was the American morale, and one of the generals said it was like adding, brigades or one of those army words, that squadron. It was a name, brigade. It was like having 12 something extra because of the power of that song. That was something. And then right after that World War I, we were just about to walk into the jazz age. Music was changing big time, and a song that really walked in, opened the door. This would be the way Elvis and Fats Domino and Little Richard opened up the 1950s, where the Beatles and Rolling Stones and all that British invasion opened up the mid-60s. The late teens into the 20s. Come on in here, come on in here. Alexander's Ragtime Band. Come on in here, come on in here. It's the best band in the land. Oh, if you want to hear the music like you never heard before, you get you so excited that you're gonna start a war. It is the bestest band that I am. Alexander's Ragtime Band. that song was like a gateway. And then everything was different after that song. The way everything was different after Jimi Hendrix played the guitar. There was a new level. That was it. That was the bar. So what I got ahead of myself. I didn't do anything from the Spanish-Texas War down there when Davy Crockett got killed at the Alamo. I didn't do anything, and I love this story about the Walt Disney had the first the first TV series whether it was 2 or 3, I think it was 3 installments of Davy Crockett, and they were yes, and I read an article comparing the Davy Crockett fan to Star Wars. And I don't remember all the millions of dollars that Davy Crockett merchandising account. I mean, they were selling the raccoon hats were going like 5,000 hats a day. You know, I mean, it was tremendous what the price of raccoon pelts went to because of the demand of the baby boomer kids, children that were buying all of the parents were buying all that merchandise. And but they said if they had the licensing and the licensing then that they did for Star Wars in the mid-70s, they said the number would have gone even higher with all of that. But I remember there was a 45 record of this song, and you had a little plastic Davy Crockett, and there was a bear. You had the 2 things, you could put it on the record, and they would put it on there. As the record went around, you had Davy chasing the bear, or the bear chasing Davy. Yeah. But, and then there were Davy Crockett, of course, pajamas, and lunch boxes, and sheets for the kids, and it just went on and on. All the Davy Crockett merchandise. It was tremendous. Born on a mountaintop in Tennessee, the sweetest state in the land of the free. Raised in the woods, and he knew every tree. Killed him a bear when he was only 3. Davy Crockett, the wild frontier. Davy Crockett, a man that knows no fear. He went off to Washington to serve a spell, fixing up the government laws as well. He did pretty good as we can tell. He fixed up the crack in the Liberty Bell. Davy Crockett, the king of the wild frontier. Davy Crockett, a man that don't know fear. When he came home, his politicking done. The Western March had just begun. Got his gear, got his dog and his gun. Sit out singing to follow the sun. Davy Crockett, the king of the wild frontier. Davy Crockett, headed out west again. He must have looked just like Fess Parker. All you see is Fess Parker. And he was so popular in his day. He was legendary. Where was I? Was I in Mystic? No, it was in Rhode Island someplace. And they said they had a Davy Crockett at the front of the boat instead of a mermaid or a dragon or whatever. What do you call that part of the thing that the ornamentation on the front of a boat? What is the
masthead?
The masthead. It was Davy Crockett. Can you imagine? He was that part that somebody made a masthead of Davy Crockett. And then, of course, he was elected for 1 term and when in Tennessee, and apparently there was 2 interesting things that happened. When de Tocqueville wrote Democracy in America, and he was drawing the contrast between the aristocracy of France and the localized, we the people government of America, he brought up Davy Crockett being elected. He said only in America, as opposed to France, could someone who lives in the woods, who wears animal hides, and be elected to represent his Yeah, and he's mentioned in Democracy in America by de Tocqueville. And the other thing, there was another thing about him when he was unelected. His famous words were, "I will go to Texas and you may go to hell." He told his constituents so mad that they didn't re-elect him. And the Alamo was March of 1836 is the Alamo. And then in April is San Jacinto, where revenge, was it Houston or whoever the Texas guys got revenge for the Alamo. And this leads me to that song, The Yellow Rose of Texas, because that whole story about the girl from North Haven that becomes an indentured servant, and she's there, and she's supposedly the girl in the tent that had the general, occupied when he should have been worrying about the war. So, The Yellow Rose of Texas is a girl from North Haven, Connecticut. I gotta get my melody, I gotta remember this. She's the sweetest Becky, still Becky. She's the sweetest little rosebud that Texas ever knew. Her eyes are sweet as diamond, they sparkle like the dew. You can talk about your Clementine, single Rosalie, but the yellow rose of Texas is the only girl for me. I'm going out to find her where the stars are shining bright. We'll walk along the river on a quiet summer night. I've made my bedroom daily, I swear we'll never part. When I find my Emily, I'll never break her heart. She's the sweetest little rosebud that Texas ever knew. Her eyes are sweet as diamonds, they sparkle like the dew. About your Clementine, single Rosalie, but the yellow rose of Texas is the only girl for me. But the yellow rose of Texas is the only girl for me. Yellow Rose of Texas, Emily West was her name. Emily West, there was another name attached to her. Because I said their name was Emily West, and the guy looked it up and he goes, no, it's not Emily West. But it was the name of the guy, she was an indentured servant, so she took on another name. But the more you read about that, I think this is all legend, all story. It's about her being there, and I think she existed. I think the woman, but this business of the tent, her drinking champagne with the general, and that, I don't know. Who knows?
Sounds good to me.
It sounds like such a better story. So much better than anything you could imagine. So let me see. That gets us into the World War I. We have to that the 1920s. I love the 1920s. I played 1920s music even when I was in college. In my music, the guy that taught me how to play the guitar would critique. He'd go, "Well, play it too fast." He goes, "You got the right songs, but you do them too fast." So I still play those songs too fast. But I love that whole body of work. When we will call, and even it's night, I'll hurry to my blue heaven. Now, funny, Fats Domino did a version of this in 1960. He did My Blue Heaven, but Gene Austin was the guy that originally sang this, and Gene Austin was a distant cousin of Gene Austin, who owns the Sycamore, who died a couple of years ago. But Gene was a cousin. He wasn't, first cousin. And he says he was named after that Gene Austin. I don't know if that's true, but Gene would say that in the Sycamore. He goes, "I was named after him." You see that smiling face, a fireplace, a cozy room, a little nest that's nestled with a rosy bloom. Molly and me, baby next week, we're having my blue heaven. When we're going home, and if it's night, I'm having my blue heaven. right. You got a little white light, we'll take you to my blue heaven. You see that smiling face, a fireplace, a cozy room. There's a little nest that's nestled where the roses bloom. Molly and Lee, and baby Big Tree, we'll have you in my blue heaven. Now I'm gonna do a song called Margie out of this. Same era, same style. And there was a woman named Margie Colombrero. And I was talking earlier, I was up at La Fortuna. I played there for 12 years before it was sold. And there was a woman I used to pick up at Bethel Healthcare. She lived at the Cascades. She was in the independent wing of Bethel Healthcare. And I met her at Plain Jane's because I played a birthday party there. Didn't know who wanted me. Someone said, come down, you gotta play with me. Well, she had turned 90. And Margie Colombrero turns 90. And she ended up being my girlfriend from 90 till when she was 95. Yeah. And I would pick her up on Wednesday nights, and she would take the a hidden elevator because she didn't want anybody to know that she was going to a bar with a musician, and the people loved her. And she'd have a strobe light. Tamarine had a strobe light. She would wear boas. She'd shake in front of these men. She was about 4'10", right? Debbie knew her. She was such a character. She had all these. She had costumes. She would go out in costume. And so from her 90th birthday till she got ill probably in the early part of her 96th year. But she was with me every Wednesday night. If there was a guy with a motorcycle, she'd be on the motorcycle. She was all of that. And I brought her to that's when we had the Columbus Day Parade in Bethel. And I brought her to one, and yeah, of course she loved it because she's Italian. And then the next year or the third year, whatever, I had so much on my plate to get that parade going, I couldn't pick her up. And she was so mad at me. Oh, I can't do the and I said, here I am with a woman who's like 93, and I said, we're fighting like we're husband and wife. I said, how did this happen? And she said to me, oh, before that, she goes, and you with that stupid jacket, like my tail. Like she was so insulted that I didn't pick her up. She's killing me. And she goes, and that you with your stupid jacket. So then I said, look, I said, we're fighting like I'm your boyfriend. I said, I can't do this. And I said to her, how did I end up with a 90-year-old girlfriend? And she said, because you're stupid. But it was just so funny. Oh, we'd have these awful fights. And she'd be mad at me. You didn't call me. You didn't take me there. She was loved. We had a great time. Those 6 years. To have so much. And the best thing she ever said to me was, I never had to lie until I met you. Isn't that funny? I never had to lie until I met you. Because she would have to hide her life from all the people in the assisted living. She had to hide. And her family loved it. Her daughter and 2 sons, they said, oh my God, my mother, they take my mother out. And she had this whole cadre of people that just loved her. She would be there from like 7 o'clock till like 8:30, and then they'd take her home, and then the night would go on. But Margie, oh God, she was the best. I mean, you never know what's coming down the line, the next relationship. But to meet somebody who was 90, and then she spent 6 years with me, it was great. Margie, listen to you, Margie. Think about you, Margie. I told my wife about you, don't forget that promise you made. I have bought a whole big ring and everything for Margie. You've been my inspiration, days are never blue. After all is said and done, there was really only one. Margie, it's you. Margie, I always think about her, Margie. Because three little words, those are the words that told me they were. I love you, yes I do. I love you. If you break my heart, I'll die. Be sure that it's true when you say that I love you. It's a sin to tell a lie. Be sure it's true when you say I love you. It's a sin to tell a lie. Millions of hearts broken because of three tiny words that were spoken. Those words were I love you, yes I do. I love you. If you break my heart, I'll die. Be sure that it's true when you say that I love you. It's a sin to tell a lie. Now, we're gonna update another song. I'm gonna sit right down and write myself a letter. They've heard me say this before. I'm gonna sit right down and tweet myself on Twitter. And make believe it came from you. Gonna write words so sweet, but not be off my feet. A lot of kisses on the bottom. I gotta send it to Elon. I say, okay, Elon, you got it. We're gonna sit right down and tweet myself on Twitter. I said, oh, it'll be great for the baby boomers. I'll be glad I got it. And I smile and say, I hope you're feeling better. Gotta close with love the way you do. Gotta sit right down and write myself a letter. Gonna make believe it came from you. Gonna sit right down and write myself a letter. And close with love the way you do. I gotta sit right down and write myself a letter. Gonna make believe it came. Will I make believe it came? I gotta make believe it came from you. What song? Oh, it's a sin to tell a lie. I'm gonna tweet myself on Twitter. It's so funny. And because when you think of courtship, I always talk about this when I go to diners with these young men. I say, yeah, courtship is so different. Like a man will write a letter, and the girls never get a love letter. They'll never get a love letter. It's all the texting and the machine. Oh, it's so bankrupted, that whole aspect of courtship and romance when you've got these machines. The love letter is gone. I feel so sorry for these girls that never go to the mailbox and open it up and go, oh, he wrote to me. I have a letter. I have something. He actually sat down and said this. And he's with his friends. You know, when he's clicking to you, he's got 6 guys with him, and they're all saying, I just said to her, you know, oh, this awful. So, that's that. Now, I'm going to move up. Let me see, a little bit further up. We're in the 1920s. 1934, Al Jolson, insufferable egotist, married to Ruby Keeler, who couldn't stand him after a while. And how could she? Oh, he was awful. He was unbearable. Poor Ruby. But in 1934, they teamed up. The stars are gonna twinkle and shine. What a song! This evening, about 8:45, my loving arms are gonna tenderly twine. Yes, around you. About 8:45, you know that I won't be late. About 8:30, you're gonna see me waiting there. I've been waiting for her, but the rain of it in. Waiting for her on wheels and pins, and then the world is gonna be mine. This evening, about 8:45. You know that I won't be late, 'cause 8:30 you're gonna see me waiting there. Waiting for her when the rain will begin. Waiting for her on needles and bed. The world is gonna be mine this evening. About 9:15. Oh, this evening. About 9:15. Well, I'm gonna love you. About 9:15. Al Jolson, Ruby Keeler, California, here I come. Right back where I started from. Where flowers of flowers bloom in the spring. Each morning at dawn and birdies singing everything. Sun kissed me, said don't be late. That's why I can hardly wait. Open up those gates, California, here I come. California, here I come. Right back where I started from. Where flowers and flowers bloom in the spring. Each morning at dawn and birdies singing everything. Sun kissed me, said don't be late. That's why I can hardly wait. Open up that golden gate. California, here I come. California, oh I got one. Ma, for Mother's Day, she's making eyes at me. Ma, she's awful nice to me. Ma, she's almost breaking my heart. I'm beside her. First we let her conscience guide her. Ma, she's pretty as can be. Wanna be my honeybee. Every minute she gets bolder. Now she's leaning on my shoulder. Ma, she's kissing me. Ma, she's holding hands with me. Ma, now she stands with me. Ma, she's pinching both my cheeks. So she's wooing. I'm forgetting what I'm doing. Ma, she's pretty as can be. Wanna be my honeybee. I'm meeting with resistance. I shall holler for assistance. Oh, Ma, be there. Ma, oh, Ma, she's nagging me for Mother's Day. I want a girl just like the girl that married dear old dad. She was a pearl and the only girl that he ever had. A good old-fashioned girl with a heart so true. One that loves nobody else but you. I want a girl just like the girl that married dear old dad. Good thing I thought of a couple songs for Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Those two titles, thank God my brain has been working quietly behind my back. Yeah, and when I'm in a gig like this, I say to people, you don't know how hard this is. I make it look like it's easy. Do you know when I'm singing these songs? I'm thinking ahead. I'm thinking 2 or 3 songs down the line. I'm not thinking about the song I'm singing. I'm worrying about what I'm going to do after the song is over. That's what's nice about having a good repertoire. You don't have to worry about stuff, because then I've just done this forever. I've done this for so long. I'm going to do the first song that I ever learned, and it was in I was in kindergarten singing this song. And it was a Ray Charles song that my aunt and my mother taught me, and it had to be, I sang this in the September of 1955.
Come on.
Yeah. I wasn't 5 years old, and I sang this song. I don't know why they showed me this song, especially. You give your hand to me, and we say goodbye. I was 4 years old, and we walk away. beside a lucky guy. You'll never, never know the one who loved you so. Well, you don't know me. No, you don't know the one that thinks of you each night, who longs to kiss your lips. I long to hold you tight. To you I'm just a friend, that's all I've ever been. Well, you don't know me. Well, I never knew the art of making love at 4 years old. I'm singing. I look at my mother and why did you have me sing a song like this? Though my heart burns with love for you. Well, afraid and shy, yeah, I let it all go by. And the chance that you might love me too. You give your hand to me, and then you say hello. Oh, I see you walk away, my heart is beating so. You think you know me well, but anyone can tell. You don't know me, you don't know me. 4.5 years old in Bethel, at the kindergarten, in the basement of then Bethel High School. And then I went to Sacred Heart School. My aunt signed me up. She brought me to Sacred Heart right there in Danbury. And I had my first grade, her name was Sophie, but her chosen name was Sister Innocent. She was about 19. She was 9, she wasn't even 20 years old. She was so young and old. We all loved her so much. And she would let me sing in class after lunch. And I would like make believe I was playing the guitar. And she'd see me doing this, and she'd go, "Oh, Billy, come on, come up and sing." So I'd get to sing. Not every day, but quite often. And that was the beginning of me singing out in public. I knew I was going to do it. And the song I sang. So I graduate from kindergarten in June of 1956. That summer, Love Me Tender comes out. Elvis Presley. So you got the 5-year-old boy brain. My aunt took me to the movies, whether it was the Palace or the Empress, I don't know what it was. And I saw that movie, and I heard Elvis Presley sing Teddy Bear. And I started, so I've been singing that song for like 65 years. Oh, this song, I've sung this song so long. And what a song! Little baby, let me be your loving teddy bear. Put a chain around my neck, let me anywhere, oh, let me be your teddy bear. Baby, let me be around you every night. Run your fingers through my hair and cover me real tight, oh, let me be your teddy bear. Really don't wanna be a tiger, a tiger's playing around. I don't wanna be a lion, lions ain't the kind you love and do. Don't let me be your teddy bear. Put a chain around my neck, leave me anywhere, oh, let me be your teddy bear. Yeah, I don't wanna be a tiger, tigers play the rough. I don't wanna be a lion, lions ain't the kind you love enough. Wanna let me be your teddy bear. Love Me Tender when he did Love Me Tender, love me long. Take me to your heart, for it's there that I belong, evermore to part. Love me tender, love me long, all my dreams fulfill, for it's there that I belong, and I always will. Now let's see if I can get the words how this originally went. Like the blackbird in the spring on a willow tree, softly rocked, I heard her sing, singing orally, 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 made of golden hair. Sunshine came along with me, and swallows in the air. So that's where Love Me Tender came from, orally, which was a song of the Union Army. This song was just the way Rally Round the Flag, they were the big songs. The Union Army's song was orally. And I'm trying to think, there was one of the Confederates that was banned, it was so sad. Well, that'll come to me. But orally became Love Me Tender, love me long, all my dreams fulfill. Oh my darling, I love you, and I always will. What a song! Orally becomes Love Me Tender in the 1920s. In the 1920s is when they changed the words and it became popularized again. But yeah, that song Orally was played all the time. Oh, that was in 1862 that was written. That's a long time ago. We're still singing it. Let's see what we have. Maybe I can move up into the mid-50s, as I think I got there. I got to the mid-1950s. And there's a great story behind these two songs. There was this fabulous, fantastic rivalry. Who's the guy that did, Well, I Never Felt More, Guy Williams, Guy Smith, Guy Williams. Was it Guy? No, that was Guy. It'll come to me. But I forget everything now. I go out and play and I go, oh, these stories are told on that. What was the guy's name? Anyway, Well, I Never Felt, yeah, Guy Williams. This song was supposed to go to the guy that sang A White Sport Coat and a Pink Car, Marty Robbins. Marty Robbins was supposed to get singing the blues, and Guy Williams gets it. And there was this big fight between these two guys. And Mitch Miller, he was the ombudsman. Mitch Miller made it better. It's just amazing that story, Vinny, because singing the blues was, I think it was something like 8 weeks, 10 weeks on the Billboard. It was #1. So Marty Robbins lost all that money, and then, but he made it up with A White Sport Coat and a Pink Carnation. But those two songs came after Mitch Miller gets involved. With people like me, I'd have thought that I'd have lose your love. Without seeing you, and if people like running away, I'd never go, I'd never stay without you. You gotta sing. Guy Mitchell, not James. Well, the moon and stars no longer shine. The dreams that I once thought were mine, there's nothing left for me to do. I cracked senior prom with me to go. And now today I find the little girl is gonna change her mind. Well, white, or gold, and a pink carnation. I'm in a blue, blue mood. I'm a blue, blue mood. I'm in a blue, blue mood. A white sport coat. And this is the perfect time of year for that song when you think of the junior prom and the senior prom. And a boy renting a tuxedo jacket, and then the girl changing her mind. Oh, he probably bought the carnation, and he bought the tuxedo, and the girl just said, oh no, I like somebody else. Oh, that poor guy. These cruel women, these women are so bad to boys. So we spent most of the time in the 1800s, in the early 1900s. I can crawl my way up to the early 60s. I'll end it with a Beatles song.
Amen.
I love the Beatles songs. And from the Sgt. Pepper album, I remember playing in Brookfield in my band in that era, and going up, driving there, knowing we were going to do this song. And it was 1969. What would you think if I sang out of tune? Would you stand a little more calmly? Stand in your ear and I'll sing you a song. I try not to sing out of key. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friend. I get high with a little help from my friend. I'm gonna try with a little help from my friend. When your love is away, does it work for you to be alone? How do I feel by the end of the day? Are you sad because you're on your own? Do I get by with a little help from my friend? I get high with a little help from my friend. I'm gonna try with a little help from my friend. If you need anybody, I just want someone. Could it be anybody? I just want someone to love. Would you believe in love at first sight? I'm certain that it happens all the time. What do you see when you turn out the light? I can't tell you, but I know it's mine. No, I get by with a little help from my friends. I get high with a little help from my friends. I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends. Yes, I get by with a little help. Friend, with a little help. Friend. There was this. 20 years ago today, Sgt. Pepper was a band to play. Even going in and out of style. And we're gonna need to make you smile. So let me introduce to you. For all these years, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club. It's wonderful to be here. It's certainly a thrill. You're such a lovely audience. We'd love to take you home with us. We'd love to take you home. I don't really want to start the show, but I thought you might like to know that the singer's gonna sing a song, and he wants you all to sing along. Being introduced to you, he had you know for all these years. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Thank you, Richter House. A small setting like this, with no equipment, nothing, it's the best.
Do your own.
It really, it's so easy. It's so, I gotta go to Dolce now. When they're every Sunday I'm playing Dolce.
Hey, what is that old
Oh, this whole, I got this guitar in 1996, and I've played this so much, but it's, people say get a pick guard. It's not the pick, it's my hand. It's my hand pushing against that. It's made a hole. Like Willie Nelson.
Thank you, Billy.
Oh, you're welcome. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.